Royals baseball from Kauffman Stadium. The 8-game homestand continues tonight. The Royals have won their last 4, and now the San Francisco Giants return to Kansas City for the first time since the 2014 World Series. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the ballpark with Rex Hudler. I'm Ryan Lefevre. Joe Goldberg and Jeff Montgomery are coming up. Well, this wave the Royals are riding right now has been fueled by starting pitching. You've been talking about just passing the baton one guy to the next, and it's been 4 great starting performances during the win streak, and now it's Jason Hammel's turn.
And wouldn't you know, he gets the 4-game win streak baton. Now, with that comes a little bit of, I don't want to be that guy to give it up. He has not won in his career here at the K. This is his opportunity to show his guys, show his fans that he can carry that baton and make it 5 in a row. It's going to be a beautiful series.
And then, of course, the big one tomorrow, Jason Vargas, who's pitched so well for the Royals so far against Madison Bumgarner.
Mad Bum. Really? So cool. I got to meet him before the game today, Rhino, and I'm going to tell you what. He's a big, bad dude. I said, will you take it easy on our guys? He goes, heck no, Hud.
Okay, there you have it. Well, we knew it wouldn't be very long. As it turns out, Whit Merrifield was away from the Royals for just 2 weeks. He's back up from Omaha and in the lineup tonight. Is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors, official sporting goods retailer of the Kansas City Royals. Well, Hud, it must have been devastating for Whit Merrifield not to make the club out of spring training because he was so important last year. But the Royals knew that Raul Mondesi was going to play second base, and they didn't want Merrifield just sitting around and not playing.
No, and you know what? They're looking for a spark up here for the offense. Why not 2 or 3 hit Whit? Guy's down there, he's sizzling, he's been raking. So what do? Well, you know what? We already used an option on him for this year. He was bummed, but now that's all in the past. Time to move forward here. Whit's going to come out, hopefully use the whole field. Look at him, he sprays the ball around. He's got good speed, he can defend anywhere. He could be a beautiful thing for this ball club.
And the guy who did win the second base position out of spring training has been a real weapon for the Royals in the first 2 weeks. Joel and Monty will talk about Raul Mondesi when we come back.
The 21-year-old Raul Mondesi, who made his major league debut in the World Series in 2015. Of course, the 2014 World Series champs, the Giants, here for two. Joel Goldberg, Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery. We have seen Raul Mondesi contribute to this team. Yes, he is only batting 125 at the plate. He also, Monty, happens to be tied for the American League lead with 5 stolen bases. How much of a game changer is the youngster?
Well, the fact that he has so many tools that are unteachable tools, most importantly that speed. You cannot teach speed, and when he gets in a game and he's on base, he is a game changer, as we've seen just as recently as Sunday when he gets on base, ends up scoring a winning run, the only run of the ball game. But when you have that speed, you can do things that other players don't have the ability to do. Now, like you mentioned, he's hitting 125. He's going to grow into his hitting. He's going to be a guy that has average and power ability at the plate. But right now, he's taking advantage of that speed in a big way.
And so when he does get on, he makes the opposition comfortable. The Royals will try to put up some runs for Jason Hamill as he tries to keep that good starting pitching string going.
The Missouri Lottery. Every ticket played gives back to Missouri schools. So play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. By Menards, save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. By Ford, going further so you can. And by True Green, America's #1 professional lawn care company. Live life outside. Well, the Royals still have 9 players on their roster from the 2014 World Series. The Giants have 7. It's the Giants' first trip here since Game 7. First pitch is coming up next. .77 degrees, a slight breeze blowing out to left field, and nothing but sunshine. San Francisco Giants are managed by Bruce Bochy. This is his 11th year, but he's away from the team. He's having a heart procedure. He'll be able to rejoin the team on Friday. So Ron Wotus, the bench coach, will be acting manager for the 2 games of this series. Bruce Bochy, 2 spring trainings ago, had a couple of stents inserted during spring training because of a heart issue, and last year had to be hospitalized when the Giants were in Miami in August. So he will be having that procedure today, and you don't ever want to call a heart procedure minor, but he's going to be able to rejoin the team sometime this week.
Yeah, I'd like to see Boch. He's a good guy, man. He's fun, very relaxed, very calm. Barely has a heartbeat, speaking of heart.
Giants are coming off a 3-4 homestand where they hit just 2 home runs in those 7 games and batted just .222. They get Buster Posey back from the disabled list tonight. He'll be the designated hitter. He was out with a concussion. And they will get set to face Jason Hamill, who is making his 11th career start against the Giants. He has allowed 7 earned runs in 9 2/3 innings in his first 2 starts with the Royals, and looking for his first win as a Royal tonight. Denard Span, longtime Minnesota Twin, takes low, ball 1 from Hamill.
Might see a little peculiar stance there by a 33-year-old veteran. In his 9th year, closing in on 10 years of Major League service. Check him out. He's all closed up. Gets on that one knee like there, look like he's on a little scooter or something. I asked him why he did that. He said it helps him stay in and stay closed. I'm comfortable. The whole key is trying to wait. I want to keep my hips turned in, and then I'm going to explode. That ball was by him at 92.
A little bit of gray in his beard.
Yeah,
showing his age.
he's worked hard. Denard Span. Playing center field. I said, have you played in a bigger ballpark? He says, I'm not so sure. This place is really, really big. But I like it, he said.
Oh, his center field's pretty big. One down as Hosmer takes it to the bag himself.
Ford around the horn Royals defense. Why can't we highlight the newest member? Whitley Merrifield. That's right. He's going to go out there with Locane and patrol that outfield and not let anything fall. But remembering that Locane has priority over him. So we'll have to have his ears open for Locane. But happy to see Whitley back. Hoping he can add a spark.
Foul tip. Brandon Belt at the plate. Salvi gives him a high target, and it's too high. 1-1.
We'll show you Jason Hamill's arsenal. Fastball, like to sink it a little bit. Got a slider, that's his main pitch, his out pitch. Change up and curve. It's that little slider, it's a quick breaker. He's been working on that with Dave Island, saying it's improved and he feels more comfortable with it and more confident. Starts up Belt high, ends up around the knees. Keep that ball in on Belt. He's got some power. Don't let him get extended.
2-2. Mentioned the Giants struggling offensively on their last homestand. They have several hitters in their lineup that come into this series slumping. Belt is one of them. That's showing a good eye. The Royals are trying to get him to chase upstairs. And the count is 3-2. Hunter Pence is waiting on deck. Struck him out. 2 down.
Got to give Hamill a little bit of confidence. You know, hit a little little four-seam fastball, taking a page from Ian Kennedy, the Royals' last starter.
Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard. I was talking to some members of the Giants organization tonight, and they were stunned to see that Jason Hamill has never beaten the Giants because they always remember him pitching well against San Francisco. He has a good ERA, and this is one of the best matchups for him against any team in his career, but he has not beaten the Giants. He is 0-3 with that good ERA.
Great night, too. Just execute his pitches, you know, and keep the ball down. Main thing is, you know, gain confidence. That strikeout right there by Brandon Belt should help him in that department. Throw strikes. Try not to lose anybody. Challenge hitters and use that great defense he has behind him.
Two and one. A couple of guys in the lineup tonight who have good numbers against Hamill. Pence is one of them. Nick Hundley, their catcher tonight, has good numbers against the Royals starter. Look at the bite on that breaking ball. 2-2.
He's facing an aggressive hitter in Pence. He can stay out there with that. That's the one that hit the dirt. See how Salvi. Watch this one here. Yeah, that fooled him. Got him again.
3 up, 3 down with 2 strikeouts. So Hamill grabs the baton as a scoreless first inning, and let's see if the Royals can score again in the first inning. Win on Sunday and sweep the Angels in walk-off fashion, but the Royals have been hitting home runs. They are 6th in the American League with 15 home runs in 12 games, including Mike Moustakas 5 and Salvador Perez's 5. And facing Matt Cain, who has not given up a home run in his first 2 starts. 7 earned runs in 9 2/3 innings. Not many innings for his first 2 starts. Opponents are hitting .275 against the 32-year-old Matt Cain.
Well, he's got a lot of mileage on him, and this guy is one of their all-time greatest San Francisco Giants. Matt Cain, he was a horse in his day. I mean, it's still his time now, but he's learning how to get by with pitching instead of not being so dominant with his fastball and overpowering like he was for many years.
Alex into right center field. That is down and to the wall. The runner at second, nobody out to begin the bottom of the first inning.
Alex picking up right where he left off against the Giants. That's a good little 2-seam running fastball. Had a good stroke. He's hit the Giants well in his career. A .389 average, and he just pounded that. It stayed out over the plate. Nice to see a leadoff double like that from their leadoff man, Gordo.
So an RBI spot right away for Mike Moustakas. Fastball with movement at 89, and you were just talking about how Cain has had to learn to pitch with a different style. He was a mid-90s fastball, upper 90s sometimes, would challenge hitters high, had a nasty breaking ball. Little half swing, and Nunez goes out, almost tripped. 1 down.
Giants defense -3 defensive runs saved so far this season. Last year they were +50, one of the best. They pride themselves on defense like the Royals do. 3rd in the major leagues this year, or last year, sorry, one of the best. No Posey behind the plate. He will be DHing. Pinson right field is an animal, got a good arm. Crawford solid shortstop.
Outside to Lorenzo Cain, the subject of our Kubota power stats. Highest on base percentage in Royals history, or through since '97 in the first 12 games. Cain has the 3rd and 4th highest totals. He was actually just a hair better 2 years ago than he is off to this great start. 11 walks, 3rd in the major leagues, which is a career high for him in any month in his career, and we still have just a little under 2 weeks to go in April.
Well, I bet you Moose wishes he had that at bat over again. A little check swing, he didn't want that unless it fell for a hit. Want to move Alex to 3rd base.
Big rip by Cain. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Kind of, you know, help him out getting that run home a little bit easier. The Royals just hitting 158 with runners in scoring position so far early. Now Matt Cain, fastball most of the time. He's going to little 2-seamer, going to try to run it. He's got some slider working, some curve and change. He's going to try to mix them all and try to stay out of the middle if he can. He's not overpowering anymore.
Fighting it off, to say the least. 1 and 2.
A little bit more. That ball's fair down the line. That's a beauty. But Locaine, he's been a combination aggressive at times, and then a combination very patient. But some of the hits he's been getting aren't his most proud hits, but he's getting some infield knocks. He's getting a couple of doinkers in there, which are all welcomed to any hitter he welcomes.
Span coasting into right center field. And Alex will head to third. 2 down. Matt Cain, he has been on the disabled list 9 times just since 2013. And Hud mentioned there was a time when he was a horse. You could write him down for 200 innings pitched just about every year from 2007 through 2011. Since then, he has made 18 starts since 2013.
Well, you know what? That's the wear and tear that pitching coaches and managers are a little leery of. Just that's a heavy workload, but he's a big, strong guy. At 6'3", 230, 235, he's durable. And that'll catch up to you.
One and one on Hosmer.
Dave Righetti's his pitching coach. 18th season with the San Francisco Giants. Long tenured pitching coach.
That's unheard of these days.
Unbelievable. Well respected. Very businesslike. Old school. And extremely knowledgeable about the Kansas City Royals fans here.
A little cutter in on him. 2-1. No swing.
Had a little chat with Rags is what his teammates call him, or his players. And he was a Yankee pitcher back in the day in '82, '3, '4, and '5 when the Royals were in their heyday, that first championship run. He told me today about the respect he had for the fan base here and what a baseball crowd they were, and then how feared the Yankees were of the Kansas City Royals. They played a brand of baseball a lot like their 14 and 15 teams here. Look at that, being patient. This is going to be a key for Haas to get unlocked. See some pitches. Don't feel like you have to carry the load yourself.
That is Cain's 7th walk in 10 innings this year. Runners at the corners for Salvador Perez. 289 batting average. He has a 644 slugging percentage, which is 5th best in the American League. Good movement. The Royals are dying for a big hit with 2 outs. Batting just 107 with 2 outs. And they've only scored 7 runs with 2 outs. That's typically a Royals strength. In on his hands. And Marrero coming up in left field, and that'll do it. So the Royals are not able to cash in Alex Gordon's leadoff double. major leagues just greeted one another as Buster Posey leads off the second inning. Our Toyota League leaders, if you go back to 2013, we know what these two can do defensively, but on the offensive side, they are among the top 4 in just about every category. Posey's played the most games, Salvi second, Posey 4th most home runs, Salvi 3rd, Posey most RBI, Salvi 3rd. Salvi's been to 1 more All-Star game, and he's won 3 more Gold Gloves.
Pretty impressive group right there at home plate, including Lance Barksdale. I'll throw him in there too, since he's got the gear on. Let it go, Lance. Get in there with a couple of potential Hall of Famers. You never know.
Posey is just coming off the disabled list tonight. He was hit on the helmet by the Diamondbacks' Taijuan Walker 8 days ago, so he'll be the DH in these 2 games, or at least tonight. Just kind of ease him back in there. He went on the 7-day disabled list under the most recent concussion protocol.
Once again, listening to the Price Chopper pregame show, listening to Jeremy Affeldt, who's now a broadcaster for the Giants.
Mondesi over to the left of second base. 1 down.
Talked about, you know, he didn't really black out when he got hit in the head, but it hit him in the back of the head, and they just weren't sure exactly if he would have taken another foul tip off the mask or something, if that could have put him out the rest of the year or something, because they just want to take a precautionary measures by letting him sit out for 7 days.
Former Royal 2nd round pick, Jeremy Affeldt.
What a career he had total with the Giants. I mean, he had a nice run there.
Brandon Crawford takes ball 1. Another Giant that is struggling over the past week coming into tonight. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Sliders his pitch. Now a lot of pitchers like to establish their 4- and 2-seam fastballs early in games, and then go to their secondary pitches. But Hamill's more of a slider guy. I'm gonna set up my fastball, that 4-seamer there, with my sliders. Such a good pitch for him. And he didn't have a lot of confidence in his first few starts this season with that pitch. And that's one of your best weapons, and you don't have confidence in it, you're going to struggle a little bit. And he has. Not up to his standard. But under the direction of that 2-time world champion pitching coach right there in his 6th year with the Royals, he's helped him get back together again. He's an excellent mechanic for pitching. Dave Island likes to go over video, watches all the time with them, and if they're struggling, he'll help them try to get back on page. He's not a guy that's going to just dissect a pitcher for nothing. These are big leaguers. Hitting coaches the same way. You're there when they need you. And then when they say, hey, I need some help here, okay, let's work on it. Let's break it down a little bit. But if it ain't broke, don't try to fix it. That's his mentality, and he's been very successful in his 6 years here.
Still 2-2 on Crawford. Hamill did a good job of getting Crawford to chase pitches up in that sequence, and he flies out to Alex in left field, 2 down.
Yeah, and when you're Hamill, he's going to get used to pitching here at the K. That high fastball that Kennedy's been doing so well with. A lot of guys can't hit it out of the park and hurt you here in this house. So you're going to keep the ball up on him. You can see the sequences, and look at the trail on that. How's movement, man? Are you kidding? You want to know why a 300 hitter up here at this level is a huge success? that's failing 7 out of 10 times? Because look at all that movement. It's hard to square that up. That's incredible. Look at the movement he's getting.
Eduardo Nunez fooled on a breaking ball.
What kind of boss would accept that type of failure rate in any business? Wouldn't happen. But in this business, you got to be patient. You got to be able to deal with failure all the time.
Hosmer, did he keep his foot on there? He did. John Tumpane is the first base umpire. The Giants are going to take a second look.
Haas is so great with his feet. Ron Woest, acting manager of the team. Watch this guy. Oh, yeah, I think he drug his toe on there. Well, take a look at it if you don't believe him.
They will not challenge.
That's right. That wingspan Haas is carrying is a beautiful thing for infielders. Thank you.
Kansas City. Game 2 of the series is tomorrow. It's also another student night. Only $10 with your student ID gets you into the ballpark. You'll also enjoy a happy hour special at the Boulevard Hop Stop concession stand. And you can listen to live local music on the Outfield Experience stage before the game. Tomorrow features a performance by the MGDs. Royals.com/student night for the full list of bands and for tickets. MGDs.
Okay.
Tomorrow night.
All right. I'll be listening.
Brandon Moss hits it hard, far, and foul.
Kane showing some really good movement on his two-seam fastballs. And that's going away to the lefties. And then he's got one coming in. There it was there. Look like a little cutter coming in on him, on his hands right there.
That stayed out over the plate and dropped into center field. The Royals have their second straight leadoff hit. That ball didn't quite get to the target.
Nope. And that's what they're going to be looking for. Half-inch, inch-and-a-half mistakes. See, and you could see it. It's the very top of that arc, and the little tail, the yellow tail we're seeing, is where the hitter sees it the best. And they're a little bit easier to put in play when they're up like that.
Alcides Escobar put an end to the game in the bottom of the 9th inning on Sunday. That was his first RBI of the year and his 4th career walk-off hit. Took advantage of the outfield for the Angels in and only 2 outfielders. So Mike Scioscia brought in one of his outfielders, Cole Calhoun, in for a 5-man infield.
Yep, Scioscia, he likes to do that. Been doing it for a long time when the score's tied late like that, especially on the road.
Span is back. The ball carries all the way to the wall. So Esky got a little more than that than Span had anticipated. Maybe got some help from the wind. And that's the first out.
I think it might have helped some. It was up there high enough. And wind caught it and helped it carry. But you hit a ball 410 feet, you'd hope you'd get a homer. Hang with him.
And now Whit Merrifield, who got a nice ovation when he was announced. Played half the season with the Royals last year. Proved that he could hit at this level and proved that he could play anywhere on the field at this level. There's mom and dad, brother and sister. Back there in the crown seats tonight.
How about it?
Moss is running, and Brandon Moss steals second base.
Very nice attempt on a hit and run there. Merrifield handles the bat well. Didn't get a good pitch to handle. Hundley, the catcher, had to pick it up off the turf, and there was a little peek back to make sure that he was hoping for some contact, but he'll take the bag. Ripped it off. Tough pick there. It bounced about 3 or 4 feet in front of the glove there.
That's his second stolen base in the last 3 years.
Nice.
Merrifield out to Crawford at short. On the money to Brandon Belt. 2 down. Moss stays at second base. I see one of the best shortstops in the National League in this series. Brandon Crawford has won the last 2 Gold Gloves in the National League.
He can do it all. And later, or sometime in today's game, we might show you that play that many people thought Alex should have scored in Game 7 with 1 out. I mean, there was 1 out, or there was 2 outs, and
yeah, that would have ended the World Series.
The shot that we have is from the third base camera well.
It's foul.
And it'll show you that he was just getting the ball. Crawford was. I'll show it to you now. What the heck? All right. Whoops. Ball kind of slipped on. Now watch this here. Oh, when he kicked it there, I said, oh, look at George is even saying, come on. See, Crawford gets it with no problem. He's got the 4 seams. Alex just getting there. He has one of the best arms in the game as a shortstop. He would have nailed Alex by 10, 20 feet. And then the crowd would have turned on Jersh. And that's how the Game 7 would have ended.
I think it was just so shocking for all of us because it was just such a magical run in the postseason that when the Giants started throwing their gloves in the air after the final out, we were searching for answers as to how it didn't happen for the Royals. That was the one time that the postseason went off script. And that was the most previous play to the final out.
But think how exciting that was. I mean, you saw Hall of Fame George Brett up in the box up there, looking like a kid. Come on, come on.
Mondesi pulls it foul, and then you have to remember that get George and Gene Watson.
He's about swallowed his gum, almost choked on it. Look at him.
And plus you got Salvi coming up, and Salvi was the only guy who had done anything against Bumgarner in the World Series. He had hit a home run against Bumgarner.
Yeah,
he had the wild card hit. I mean, you couldn't risk taking the bat out of his hands. I mean, that was getting right back to the script. But that, you're right, Hud. That's, of all the angles trying to break down what may have happened. That's one you didn't see very often, clearly showing that he's maybe 8 feet off the infield dirt with a little farther than that, maybe about 15 feet.
Yeah, you're right. He catches it before Alex even gets to third. He's got it in his glove. He hadn't even touched third yet. Look, he's winding up, Crawford is, and he's ready to throw a dart home. Oh, too bad. Good pitch, though, by Kane. He surprised him.
So the Royals have leadoff hits in the first 2 innings, but Kane is buckled down with men on base. Team or other group here at the ballpark for a special occasion. Single game suites and party areas are now available throughout the month of April and May. Call 816-504-4040 option 4, or you can email group sales at royals.com for rates and availability. Jason Hamill has faced all 6 and retired all 6 in the first 2 innings. Nick Hundley is going to lead off the 3rd inning. And Hamill throws a strike. He has now thrown a first pitch strike to 5 of the 7 hitters he has faced. That was an issue for him Wednesday against the A's, falling behind early rather than getting ahead early. Mondesi juggles it a moment, but recovers quickly and throws out Hundley. And there's one down in the 3rd as we go downstairs and check in with Joel.
Well, Ryan, the last time the San Francisco Giants were here, Whit Merrifield was down the right field line, not playing like he is tonight, but he was in town getting an injury checked out, and the Royals offered for him to watch the game as a fan. So he did. He watched it from the seats down the right field line, watching a guy he knew very well. We didn't enjoy seeing Madison Bumgarner. Maybe he didn't either. But Whit played with and against Madison Bumgarner growing up year after year in North Carolina. They first faced each other when they were 11 years old, and Whit says he drilled me in the head and then went back and hit 2 home runs that game. He said the year they all graduated from high school, Bumgarner, best hitter in the state of North Carolina.
Alex makes a play on Joe Panik, and 2 down. Well, he is clearly the best hitter among major league pitchers, belting 2 home runs on opening day, the first pitcher to ever accomplish that. And remember, you know, before 73, the American League and the National League, both pitchers hit. So you're talking about 70+ years of pitchers hitting in both leagues, and Bumgarner was the first one to hit 2 home runs on opening day.
Yeah, you know, if you look up in the dictionary the definition of a baseball player, you know, Bumgarner will be there. He's just an all-around player. Athletic, Could probably play some outfield if you give him a glove. But how about Hamill? Looking good. Getting some early count outs against the Giants.
That was a 6-pitch 1-2-3 third inning. And has been in Special Olympics for 13 years and is an active participant. Get this: track, basketball, bocce, bowling, softball, swimming, and volleyball. A recipient of multiple awards. Special Olympics has given Abby confidence and great self-esteem in competing with other athletes. The Royals are a supporter of Special Olympics, and Royals Charities hosted its annual celebrity golf tournament yesterday, and they raised $85,000 for Special Olympics KC Metro.
Fantastic. Way to go, Abby. And thank you, Kansas City Royals, for donating, working hard. That's going to stay up. But you know, not only those things you said, it builds them up and everything, but it's a great social venue. They love hanging out and talking with people and meeting folks. So, you know, and yesterday out at the golf tournament, or on Monday, yeah, I guess it was yesterday. I'm already losing track of the days. It was nice to see the athletes out there. They were all happy, and of course any of them could play golf or any sport at all. They're very talented.
Strike two, Mike Moustakas.
What was also nice to see the ball players out there. There was 5 Royals out there participating. George Brett was there. Willie Wilson.
1-1 on Moustakas.
Monty.
It's early, but Kane's biggest out tonight was a pop-up against Moustakas in the first inning. Crawford crosses behind second base and throws out Moustakas. Alex Gordon opened the first inning with a double, and then Kane made a pitch up and in on Moustakas and got a pop-up, and then Lorenzo Cain hit a fly ball to center field that would have scored Gordon had he been at third base.
You know, he's a veteran and he's learning how to pitch and hit his spots when it really matters, and that's when that runner gets a scoring position.
Well, we always say you come to a big league game, you never know what you might see. You might see something that's never happened before. And if you weren't paying close attention in the first inning, that was the first time in Major League history that there was a Kane versus Kane matchup. A Kane on the mound and a Kane at the plate. Dave Holtzman has been waiting his entire life to be able to say we have a Kane versus Kane, and he was all over you
Yeah, I mean, we let it slip.
In the first, no, we let it slip.
My bad.
Thank you.
My mouth was running again. What new? But look, Locane wants to get him good now. Matt Cain won the first one. He got him to pop out to center field.
There have been 5 Canes of that spelling in history, and here it is. First ever Cain versus Cain. 2-2. Give you a little time at home to just kind of let that marinate.
Yeah. Maybe you can get loud here.
Full count.
Okay, right here. I know this is for Holtzy right here. It's a little hard. It's not the best hard, but it's Cain versus Cain right there. Watch out.
And so far, it is Matt 2, Lorenzo nothing. Here's our unlimited baseball break brought to you by T-Mobile. Big blow to the Pirates. They're going to lose Starling Marte for 80 games, violating Major League Baseball's performance-enhancing drug suspension policy. Eric Thames has hit a home run in 5 straight games. We'll get back to that. And the Yankees are going for 9 in a row tonight as they host the Chicago White Sox. As Denard Span takes a strike. Span grounded out to first to begin the game, and now Hamill continues to throw first pitch strikes. He's thrown a first pitch strike to 8 of the first 10 hitters he has faced tonight. That was a struggle for him Wednesday against the A's, and now fouled away. So the Milwaukee Brewers last year had Chris Carter on their roster, and Chris Carter hit over 40 home runs. He tied for the National League lead in home runs, and the Brewers non-tendered him. Didn't offer him a contract.
Yeah, that was news.
That's never happened before, that a league home run champion was not offered a contract by that team the following year, and they had control of him. He was not a free agent. They had arbitration control over him, but they just let him go. And then Eric Thames, who had been playing in Korea the last 3 years and belting home runs left and right, the Brewers gave him a multi-year contract, hoping that that power would translate to the big leagues. He had played in the big leagues before going to Korea, Spent some time with the Blue Jays and the Mariners, but he really didn't do much in spring training this year. But now that the big candles are on, he's hitting home runs again.
Good for him. Like those stories. And you know, not necessarily for the big man who hit 40 home runs.
Chris Carter?
Chris Carter, yeah. Now, he signed on with the Yankees.
Right.
But I just don't think the Brewers were thrilled with all the strikeouts. On base percentage nowadays is more attractive than the home runs to some teams.
Jason Hamels retired the first 9 tonight. Lifted to right. And first chance for Witt. 1 away. Here's your chance to hit a grand slam on tickets with the Price Chopper Grand Slam 4-pack. You'll get 4 View Reserve tickets to any Sunday through Thursday Royals home game and 4 baseball caps, all for just $44. The Price Chopper Grand Slam 4-pack can be purchased exclusively at any area Price Chopper, so go and pick yours up. Fouled back by Brandon Belt. Belt struck out, swinging at a fastball in the first inning. That was Hamels' first strikeout. He has 2. 1 ball, 1 strike.
That little triangle defense right here. Royals are playing on Belt. That means that, you know, in the outfield, slight pull. Sometimes you'll see a heavy pull infield, and in the outfield, maybe to the opposite field. But they believe he's going to be a dead pull hitter, and they're pitching him inside there, too. So they'll try to pitch to that defense.
Center field, well hit. Lorenzo Cain glides over to make the play.
Now, Locaine was playing Belt to pull. He was probably about 20 feet to the right field side. And Belt hit that ball on contact and probably thought to himself, that's got a chance. But then as he got halfway to first base, he said, oh, that's right. That's Locaine. I got no chance. Cover some ground.
And now Hamel has set down 11 in a row. He also struck out Hunter Pence in the first inning with sliders. That one stays inside. Fooled him badly. Got him swinging at sliders that were nowhere near the strike zone.
Hunter Pence swings with every muscle in his body. You know how some guys will use their legs, maybe their hands, a little bit more handsy hitter. Look at him. He winds up, and then everything he puts into it. And look at those pants. He's got a unique style with the way his pants are rolled up.
Moustakas to the hole. 4 perfect innings for Jason Hamel. STIHL outdoor power equipment. Find a servicing STIHL dealer at stihldealers.com or search STIHL. By the Chevy Silverado, the most dependable, longest lasting full-size pickup on the road. Find yours at your local Mid-America Chevy dealer. And by Panera Bread. Panera caters for every group, every size, every meal. Another well-pitched game. No score. Eric Hosmer out into right center field. That'll drop in front of Pence. And that's the third time in 4 innings that the Royals have had a leadoff base hit.
All right, they're trying to get it going. They're getting on base, but they're just kind of sputtering after that. That's a hanger. The ball just hung up there, and I told you that when it's up like that, the hitter sees the ball really well. Oz had a slight little delay, and that's what you do to wait for the ball to come down to you. And it jammed him, which was good because he's able to drop it in there, not letting Pence catch it. You're not going to ask Salvi to do any small ball up there either, by the way.
Pence makes a play just inside the right field line. Hosmer to first with 1 out.
First pitch curveball. Not so sure that he was planning on that, although he had in mind to hit the ball to right field.
Brandon Moss had one of those leadoff hits. That was in the 2nd inning, and then he stole second base. Just his 2nd stolen base in the last 3 seasons. Oh, and 1.
Oh, way to go.
That,
huh?
even with the X-rays.
Oh, way to play hurt. Way to go. Sorry, you're okay. I mean, you hurt yourself, but we're glad you came out to play. The K.
1 and 1 on Moss. Two and 1. Jason Hamill has begun with 4 perfect innings tonight. Matt Cain has actually thrown a perfect game. That was back in 2012, the 22nd perfect game in Major League history. He did that against the Astros. 2 and 2 on Brandon Moss. And the home plate umpire that game was tonight's second base umpire, Ted Barrett, our crew chief, the Reverend Edward George Barrett. Yep, was back at the plate.
Those are very rare games, and certainly a lot of pride involved when you're a part of it.
He threw 125 pitches in that perfect game, which is a major league record for a perfect game. The 14 strikeouts tied Sandy Koufax in a perfect game. And you might say, well, 14, that's not that much for a perfect game. But remember, strikeouts take a lot of pitches.
That's right.
On the ground to Panic, and it's the third baseman Nunez who takes the ball at second base and completes the double play. So 4-5-3 to end the bottom of the 4th inning. For the Giants, it's been 12 up and 12 down so far against Jason Hamill.
pitchers here tonight, but this is pretty unusual here. You like the triple option in football? Here it comes. Okay, 4, that's your second baseman. 5, the third baseman. 3, and that's because the shortstop Crawford, he went to back up in case the throw was a little errant. You'll 4-5-3.
I have not written that down very often.
Nope.
In my lifetime, if ever before.
Hamill looking for some run support, and the Giants are defending just nicely.
Posey grounded out to Mondesi in the second inning, so he leads off an inning for a second time. 2 balls and no strikes. Time for our sprint trivia question with Buster Posey at the plate. Name the 6 San Francisco Giants to win the National League MVP award. There's one of them.
All time, I guess. Okay.
Going back to what, 58 is when they moved from New York.
Willie Mays,
Buster Posey, Barry Bonds, Jeff Kent.
Wow.
And the Giants have their first base runner. So what do we have? 2 more. Willie McCovey, was he an MVP? That's 5.
Stay hot. Darrell Evans. Darrell Evans. Kevin Mitchell. Ding, 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 ding.
Wow.
Bam.
One batter.
There you go.
One batter. Crawford flied out to left field in the second inning. Much to the dismay of our crew, we got them all right. I didn't realize there was such a big gap between Barry Bonds' first and second MVPs with the Giants.
Wow.
Posey, by the way, he would be the answer to a trivia question we had with the Angels in town. Guys who have won Rookie of the Year and MVP. Chris Bryant of the Cubs did that in his first 2 years. Left center, Alex is closest. 1 down. So Hamill has faced 14 and retired 13, Hud.
I was just going to ask you if you thought that Hamill, just watching him in his first few starts here, first 2, it's more of a fly ball pitcher. Now with his fastball working like it is, he's got a little Kennedy action to it. It's got a little bit of a little late life to it. He's only induced 1 ground ball double play so far in his 2 starts. He'd love to get one here. Sliders a 1.
You have to hurry. Escobar looked like his feet at the beginning of that play was thinking double play, but when the ball got into his glove, he was thinking 1 out.
Yep, he traveled a little bit. Couldn't quite get the handle. Happens, especially on a soft hit ball. He had to come in and just couldn't quite get it out. I'm not so sure Mondesi would have been able to throw him out.
So Nunez at first, and now Nick Hundley. Close at first. Timeout had been called by home plate umpire Lance Barksdale.
Oh, that would have been close. I mean, almost exact time.
You don't think about Nunez as a big base stealing threat. He wasn't that when we saw him with the Twins, but he has 5 stolen bases, and that ties for the major league lead.
He's come alive. Nunez, the year they traded him Minnesota, he was an all-star that year. He was Minnesota's best player, but it's taken him a long time to get to that stature. And then when he got to the Giants, he was exactly what they needed. He became a spark plug, and he became a go-to guy. Let him play some third. He could play, all around the infield. Confidence came, and so did his game. Just blossomed.
That's hit well. Kane back to the track and makes the play right in front of the wall. So Hundley put a good swing on it, but not quite deep enough. 5 scoreless innings for Jason Hamill. And already tonight making a couple of plays deep in center field for Jason Hamill. School Day at the K, presented by Price Chopper and hosted by the Fox 4 Weather Team, is coming up. That'll be Thursday, May 4th. Kids and teachers will have a lot of fun learning about Kansas City weather. And then afterwards, catching the Royals and the White Sox. That's a 1:15 game. The on-field presentations begin at 10 a.m. Go to Royals.com/schoolday to get more information. Matt Cain has allowed a leadoff single in 3 of his first 4 innings. But the Royals have not scored against the San Francisco right-hander. Alcides Escobar drove one to the wall in straightaway center field in the 2nd inning. That was right after Brandon Moss's leadoff single. Escobar, Merrifield, and Mondesi are coming up. Got it in on him. Crawford backhands. Shows off that strong arm. 1 down. Matt Cain, and we mentioned early that just since 2013 he has been on the disabled list 9 times. With just about every injury you can imagine. Witt's out in front of a changeup. Kane has been out with a bruised right forearm, a cut right finger, right hamstring, right elbow surgery, right hamstring, low back. He's had a cyst removed from his right arm. He's had right ankle surgery.
Ooh.
So there's a big man, 6'3", 230 pounds, who'd been held together by duct tape and baling wire.
Yeah, but let me tell you what. He did it all for 3 championships. He'll take it. And in 2010, Rhino, in the postseason, he was brilliant. He tossed 21 in a 3rd innings without allowing an earned run when everything was on the line. That's a horse.
3-1 on Witt.
And that was the 6th longest streak in Major League history. Postseason, pretty impressive.
Three and two. Don't forget, if you can't catch a game on TV, you can stream games live on your mobile device. Download the Fox Sports Go app, log in, and stream the Royals. Bill and Kissy Merrifield on the ends, watching Witt here tonight, back with the Royals, and he drives it to right field, pins to the track, gone! Witt Merrifield, he's back.
That's what you do. Take a heater on the outside part of the plate and hit it to one of the most difficult places for a right-handed hitter to go deep. Oppo with a little bit of pop. Ran Pence out of room. And look at it. Look at his family. Go, go, go. Get up, get up, get up. Yeah. 1-0. There you go. Hamill, here's your run. That's a beautiful thing to see. Parents and brother and sister. That's what they came to watch. And Ned was hoping that he would provide a spark. That's a nice spark. Another solo home run by the Royals, though. He's having a hard time hitting homers with anybody on base.
Royals have now hit 16 home runs in their first 13 games.
That's one big hit, Witt.
Looks like he's making his mom cry.
Ah, why not? Who says there's no crying in baseball, man? Whoever made that term up, I don't know. I mean, if it was Yogi, I might agree with him, but it's an emotional game.
And now Mondesi takes a 1-out walk. That's Kane's second walk tonight. Well, it was fun last year just watching Witt play. Played all over the field for Ned Yost. And getting a chance to get to know his family. And now Mondesi is picked off of first base. They're going to say he was out of the baseline. He got around Crawford's tag, but he went way in on the grass. His father, Bill, you might remember, played 6 years in the Angels organization. And 1 year in the minor leagues playing for Joe Madden. Joe Madden was an Angels minor league manager. He had 29 home runs and drove in 97 in the minor leagues. And then his mother Kissy was quite an athlete as well. She was a 5-time state tennis champion in South Carolina. Mom and dad both went to Wake Forest, and that's where they met.
Whitley driving the bus early, first day back. He's hungry.
Hey, Hud, I noticed too in talking to him today, I mean, we know that Witt is one of the nicest, most polite guys. He came back, and I think this is a good thing, not mad at anyone, with a chip on his shoulder. He was all business. He was fired up, batted .412 in the minors, and he just looked like he had business to prove.
Joel, that is huge for a player like him to have a little attitude between the lines. Believe it. You need that to compete at this level. Confidence is your best friend. Look at him. He's just sitting next to Locane. You know, it's good enough, and they're hanging out. Now he feels like he's a part of the team. All it took was one big thing, and hopefully that'll last for the Royals, and they'll get a W.
Well, it must have been a shock to him to not make the Royals out of spring training. I mean, what would have suggested to you last year that he would not be on the team opening day? But he had options, and the Royals wanted to keep their inventory. So Witt spent 2 years in the minor leagues. He hit over .400. He's back with the Royals, and in his second at bat, he goes to the opposite field to give the Royals a 1-0 lead. After his recall from AAA, is homered to give the Royals a 1-0 lead. Now Panera takes us around the league. The White Sox put an end to the Yankees' 8-game winning streak, winning 4-1. Tampa Bay out in front of Detroit. Miguel Cabrera, 1 home run shy of .450. Cleveland is all over Minnesota, although Minnesota scored 3. They're only in the bottom of the 4th inning. 2-run home run for Jose Ramirez, and was that another home run for George Springer?
George Springer, he's lethal. He's got the whole package, man. He's got speed, power. That's his 7th homer already.
Wow.
Good defender. You know what else I like about him? He plays like every game's his last game. Plays hard.
Joe Panik flied out to left field in the 3rd inning. The Giants have 1 hit in the first 5 innings against Hamill, and now they have 2 hits. They've had their leadoff man on in each of the last 2 innings.
The fact that Hamels really has a great pitch count tonight. He could go deep in this game. He can just keep that ball down, use that defense, don't get in any trouble. And he's going to eat up some more innings here.
And if the Royals turn a double play, the next day McDouble sandwiches are only $1 at participating McDonald's in the greater KC, St. Joe, and Lawrence locations. This is Chris Marrero. He popped out to short his first time up. Giants have gotten very little production out of their left fielders. Marrero, 11 years ago, was the Washington Nationals first-round pick. Line to left. Alex dives and he makes a play.
Oh, man.
Giants must feel like there are 5 outfielders out there tonight.
Oh, you know, that ball was hit hard. That's the hardest ball hit so far off Hamill. The other 2 singles were nice hits, but this one had topspin on it and very difficult to read. Alex on contact, come flying in and just flings his body. He doesn't care. He just anything to make the play for his guy. Great jump. Hamill says, thank you. You're right. I do need to pitch to contact. And take it.
1 on 1 out to the top of the order, and Denard Span. Brandon Belt got into one in the 4th inning, and Lorenzo Cain ran that down in center field. Nick Hundley drove one to deep right center field in the 5th inning. Cain ran that one down, and now Gordon makes a play in the 6th. Hamill continues to jump ahead of the Giants tonight. He has now faced 19 batters, and he's thrown strike 1 to 15 out of 19. On Wednesday against the A's, he faced 21 batters and threw 9 first pitch strikes. So he was working from behind most of that game.
Yeah, and you know that's not what you want if you're a pitcher, because now the hitter is going to start looking for a pitch that he can hit. He knows you got to throw a strike, get ahead, and you play on your own terms. And Hamill's showing some quick feet and good athleticism on his move over there. He's almost gotten a couple guys.
One and one.
Just very unusual stance. Now keep an eye on this right foot. Okay, this right foot is not typical of a hitter. Now watch him. He'll turn it, I mean, to where it's almost going that way. It's facing that way, and that's to keep that whole front side closed. He wants to keep it closed, the shoulder in, so he can wait longer. That's the whole key.
Now, I wonder if Salvi was thinking about throwing down to first base on that pitch, if he got the right pitch, because right before Hamill threw that pitch, Salvi tapped the home plate umpire Lance Barksdale to give him a little more room.
Yeah, oh, for sure. And then, you know, the hitter can't see that, and most of the time the first base coach is not looking at that either. But sure, he's letting him know, oh, hey, I might do a little snap throw behind him.
Panic takes off, and Span fouls it away. Everything was lined up. You have a left-hand batter there, so that helps disguise the catcher throwing down to first. Watch this. Give me a little extra room, because I think if he got a pitch down the middle or in, he was going to throw, but the pitch was up and away.
Great pickup. But you know, Ron Wotus, acting manager for Bruce Bochy tonight, wants to stay out of that double play, so he's going to try to send that runner.
Got him looking.
Oh man, get out the paintbrush. Jason Hamill hitting his spot. Oh man, Salvi helped him.
Well, it was in the bigger box.
It looked like it was close to being a strike, but he'll take it. Bernard, you got to go.
Hamill has struck out 3, including Brandon Belt in the first inning. Little bit inside.
Denard and Bernard. Same thing?
Right.
Okay.
Sort of.
All right.
And you can save big money at Menards.
It's beautiful. It's baseball, man.
Went there yesterday on the off day.
What'd you think?
The new one in Independence.
Oh, man.
Great.
Were you looking for your crank?
Excuse me?
You lost your crank at the, with you borrowed your neighbor's truck last week. Come on. Thought Menards might have one. Guess not.
Well, if you weren't with us a few days ago, there was a neighbor of mine who let me borrow his truck, and there was a device on his truck which required a metal crank to reel in a vinyl liner.
Okay.
So no, that's not why I was at Menards.
All right. I just wondered. I mean, they might have had one.
We have a very loyal fan base, Hud, but not everybody watches every game.
Okay. All right. Sorry about that. Oh, big foul.
And it is. By the way, my neighbor got a new one. It was $26.
Really?
Yeah.
That's twice what I priced it for.
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate it. You did some exhaustive research
I
online. You found a
tried.
$12 one, didn't you?
Yeah, but you know what? I've never heard of the whole pickup truck bed that rolls down and lets the stuff out, which makes a lot of sense. Saves a lot of work, shoveling dirt out of the bed of your pickup.
Right.
Thank you for the education there.
So back to live action. Nice strike. Denard Span didn't argue with Lance Barksdale when he was called out. Belt doesn't argue either, but the look on his face says it all.
Corey holds his hands. Now he starts down there. They're comfortable. Then he brings him back up.
Just outside. And for the first time, the Giants have more than one base runner in an inning. That is Hamill's first walk. It comes with 2 outs in the 6th inning. He had walked 6 in his first 9 2/3 innings. And now 1 in 5 2/3 tonight. MLB.com At Bat is your #1 mobile app for live Royals baseball. You can customize At Bat to stay close to the Royals with home screen icons, live scores, news, stats, video highlights, radio broadcasts, and more. Download MLB.com At Bat today and stay connected to the Royals all season long. 2 on, 2 out, and Hunter Pence at the plate. He got Pence to swing at that pitch twice in the first inning and struck him out, and then Pence grounded to third in the 4th.
Giants hitting .264 as a team with runners in scoring position. Pence, he's one of their better hitters at .333.
Two 2-0 with Posey on deck.
Third time through now for Hunter Pence. Hamill struck him out the first time and got him a little ground ball to the third baseman the second time up now.
Challenge him with a fastball.
2-0, that's what a hitter's looking for, and he was a little bit tardy. Has a good shot at Ned. Talking to Don Wakamatsu and his pitching coach there. This is one of the areas that Ned's been so much improved on, at least since 2012 when I got here. He's really taken the knowledge from his coaches more than he ever did.
Goes the other way. Here comes Panic around third. Merrifield's throw is cut off, and the Giants tie the game with 2 outs.
Okay, there's one too many fastballs there, and that was way too much to the plate. So that's the only mistake we've seen Hamill make here with the runner in scoring position. That ball's going to be hit hard somewhere. Pence wasn't trying to do too much with it, just tried to do exactly that.
The Giants didn't do anything for the first 4 innings against Hamill. They didn't have a single base runner. They got a leadoff single in the 5th. And now in the 6th inning, a leadoff single. A line drive to left, which required a diving play by Alex Gordon for an out. A strikeout, a walk, and now Pence drives in Panic, putting 2 on for Buster Posey, who has begun the season at .348. Belt is at second. Pence is at first. Up the middle. Mondesi is there. It's off his glove. They're going to send the runner to the plate. And out. Salvi got the glove down right in front of Belt's spikes.
Oh, this is going to be a close replay here. Now, if the throw's on the other side of the plate, he gets him. Look where Salvi has this. Now, does he get it? Yes, he knocks it back in the glove for him. What a beautiful tag by Salvi to hold on to the snow cone right there at the end. Mondesi with a heck of a play to get to it. It took a bad hop, but he's able to keep it in front. Phil Nevin, the third base coach of the Giants, sent him. Salvi with a beautiful tag. Nice soft hands. Here's a hit. Okay, Hamill, look at Hamill in the middle. Okay, he's standing there. Mondesi, great job of knocking it down. Pulls the throw a little bit. Salvi didn't know it. It was in the snow cone at the very end of his glove. And he's able to hold on. I mean, you know how many times the slide of the runner is going to jar that ball loose and knock it out? It's amazing that he's able to hold on.
Oh, he helped them out. He put it deeper in the pocket.
Look at Hamill. Hamill says, whoa, man, I better get out of the way. Salvi with a quick pick. and holds it, shows it right to home plate umpire Lance Barksdale. Great plays.
Oh, man,
some
great
more,
shot.
Some more solid defense, fellas. Good job. Salvi says that might have hurt a little bit, but thankfully didn't jam his wrist.
That was Morgan Kramer's shot from center field. Kane to Kane, and a slider in for a strike. Lorenzo is flied to center and fouled out to first.
And I'm looking at Brandon Belt.
Here's Pence in right field for the second out. So 2 down in our Sonic Slam inning. Our contestant is Terry Brock from Norborn, Missouri. If the Royals hit a home run out of the park in this inning, Terry wins $300. If the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Terry wins $25 grand from Sonic and the Royals.
Mm.
0-1 to Hosmer. He is walked and singled.
Oh, Haas is just saying, would you please throw me another one of those? That split the dish in two. Good hitting speed, 89. Anyway, I'm checking out Belt's. He's 6'5", 225, the first baseman. That's a lot of human being coming in, sliding into Salvi's wrist. Very fortunate there wasn't an incident there, no accident. There's a big guy coming home here now, and look at this. It's just all glove. And Salvi, you have to have extremely soft hands, and his right hand was on the ground there. It just missed being spiked by Belt.
Off of Hundley's glove and right into Lance Barksdale. So Hundley's going to go out there and give Barksdale a little extra time.
He is.
Norborn, Missouri, by the way, I was curious, is in between Richmond and Carrollton. Straight north of Concordia. And that's where Terry Brock is hoping to win the Sonic Slam inning. Still 3-2. Royals run came on a home run from Whit Merrifield in his second at bat tonight after being called up from Omaha. And the Giants just tied it in the 6th on a base hit from Pence. Snapped bat and then some. Inning over. Royals go down in order in the bottom of the 6th. Every day there's a great deal waiting for you at Thoroughbred Ford. By Academy Sports and Outdoors, official sporting goods retailer of the Kansas City Royals. And brought to you by Jeep. Visit Jeep.com to learn more. Matt Cain has allowed 1 run, 4 hits. Jason Hamill has allowed 1 run, 4 hits. You'll get Crawford, Nunez, and Hundley in the 7th inning. The Royals are working behind him in the left field bullpen. Breaking ball dips low. Ball 1 on Crawford.
And both teams have left 3 on. And there's a little bit of action up in the Giants bullpen too. Now Cain, I'm impressed with the movement he's been able to get on his pitches. We saw Hosmer with that 3-2 half swing punch, broken back base hit. Obviously he's got him guessing that, or the break on the ball is so good that he's doing his job. Cain is. Hamill's doing a nice job as well.
Pass Moustakas. Alex gets there quickly. Crawford's going to dig for 2. And the throw is there, but Crawford gets his hand in time. Alex made a very, very good throw considering he wasn't able to set his feet.
You better believe it. And that play there is a byproduct of his third base playing infield days as a young Royal. Now watch him. See, in infield you got to make those plays and throw off your right foot all the time. But it was an excellent throw. And Crawford gets his left hand in there. Boy, it was a great effort. Nunez has the ability to play small ball. Let's see if he elects to do that. Pretty good hitter too. Yeah, they're going to let him swing away. He's hitting .357 with runners in scoring position, so he's one of their hot guys.
Travis Wood, Peter Moylan heating up in the Royals bullpen. Giants had 1 base runner in the first 5 innings. And now 5 of the last 7 have reached. Nunez has grounded to short twice. Now he's thinking about a bunt, but that was up and away.
Yep, he had a couple of sack bunts last year. He has that ability.
And now Hamill has the advantage, 1-2.
Now Hamill, he's just going right after these guys. He's not trying to finesse them. He's not trying to nitpick with his fastball. He's not trying to hit the edges of the corners. He's giving them some pitches and they're not hitting them. And it's called wanting to pitch to your defense, but you don't want to really miss in the middle.
Had him reaching.
That's what you want him to do. Keep him off balance. And if anything, you got to make it out. Nunez is going to try to make it on the right side so we can get him over there to third base with less than 2.
Bunning with 2 strikes. He did not go. That according to first base umpire John Tumpine.
And now 2 strikes. A lot of the defenses aren't expecting that with 2, but you know what? You're a veteran guy with confidence in what you can do. He showed it. If it was pitch up, he probably would have bunted it down. Maybe he'll buy him a fastball here.
Got a breaking ball and he hits it into left field. Crawford had to hesitate to make sure it was going to get through. So he advances to third. And San Francisco has runners at the corners and nobody out. And at 87 pitches, Ned Yost says that's enough for Hamill. Right-hand hitting Nick Hundley is the next scheduled hitter, and he has good career numbers against Hamill. And one of his outs tonight, he drove one to the warning track in right center field.
Well, offense will pick him up. That was a good slider he threw. Nunez with a good piece of hitting there, found the hole.
Peter Moylan is a Chevy call to the bullpen. Out in the 7th inning. Tonight's copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Kansas City Royals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals. Ryan Lefevre, Rex Hudler with Joel Goldberg, Jeff Montgomery, and Peter Moylan is out of the Royals pen, with Brandon Crawford at third, Eduardo Nunez at first, and Nick Hundley at the plate. Good pitch down and in, 0-1.
Very nice sinker. 2-pitch guy. Sinker slider. Great ERA.
He has allowed 1 hit in 6 2/3 innings. Nunez made a move towards second as the pitch was thrown. Jason Hamill opened with 4 perfect innings tonight. Through 5 innings, he had allowed just 1 base runner, but now 6 of the last 8 reached against Hamill, and Ned Yost figured it was time to go to the pen. And now Moylan's ahead, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
It's the best we've seen Hamill look. Getting ahead of hitters all night long, executing his fastball. Slider was good, it was sharp, it's laid up a little bit, but still, even that last pitch that Nunez hit, that was a ball that was down below his knees even, and he found a hole. And you know, that's kind of sometimes the way it happens. If you get him 3 or 4 runs, you know, he's golden. But he's looked good.
To Moustakas, foul ball.
Well, it's a good thing that was foul. I'm a little bit surprised that Moose with Crawford there didn't try to, with the way that ball took him there, we might have taken the shot at home to cut that run down here late in the game like this. But it's a good thing it was foul. But he was going to go around the horn a difficult way off balance. You see that? See what they give him right there? It was an out at home. Crawford did, but it's okay. There's nobody out, and Moose elected to go that way, but it was foul. We'll see if they can do better here. Just depends on how hard the ball is hit and where it's hit. That will determine what you're going to do with it. This late in the game, if you got a shot at the guy at home, get him. Beautiful.
Big strikeout.
Okay, sinker. Look at the action on that sinker. Now that was a fastball, and he was working both sides of the plate. See, the key for him is to stay out of the middle. Any pitcher is. That one ball swept off the outside of the plate there. Great job of getting that strikeout for Peter Moreland.
And that's all Ned Yost needs from him tonight. And our next Chevy call to the bullpen is lefty Travis Wood to face Joe Panik. One-third, and now Travis Wood. They were with the Cubs last year, and Joel, how did they spend the off day yesterday?
Yeah, what a great off day for them. Hamill, Wood, and Soler flew out after the game here on Sunday, attended the game last night, all three receiving their World Championship rings and a huge ovation from the Wrigley Field crowd. Travis Wood said to me, it was a great day to be able to get the ring, to see it in person, but I'd never actually attended a Major League Baseball game before as a fan. Now he's back to work.
And he's got his work cut out for him. I got a chance to see one of those rings. Wow.
Yeah. How about it? I hadn't had a chance to see it yet, but good for those guys. Timing was perfect for them. Okay, let's see Woody having a hard time getting his pitches to exactly where he wants them. He wants to stay on the corners, carve the corners, and keep the ball down. Talked about the base stealing ability of Eduardo Nunez, who's at first base. He's got to concentrate on that hitter Panik.
Jumps ahead, 0-1. Panik singled leading off the 6th inning and scored the tying run on Pence's base hit. He is hitless in 6 at-bats in the past against Wood.
Travis 87-92 with the fastball that he likes to cut into righties. Curveball away to lefties, change-up slider. Work the corners. He's got a step-off move that he could show Nunez here, but be careful with the throw. Make sure you hit Haas and want to give him a run.
Two balls and 1 strike. Hamels responsible for Crawford at third and Nunez at first. 3-1. Walks have been an issue. He has walked 5 in 2 2/3 innings.
Travis Wood with a 205 average against lefties in his career. Does a good job. Lost him. Now he would love to see if he could get Marrero on a little ground ball double play in the inning. That's what he's looking for here. If he can get him out front, he's got a change up, breaking ball. Those pitches all go down. Tail cutter, make sure to keep it down.
Chris Marrero 0 for 2. Best pitch he's thrown tonight. Marrero lined to left in the 6th inning, and if not for a diving play by Alex Gordon, that could have been a much uglier inning for the Royals. The Giants got the 1 run to tie the game. Now they have the bases loaded, 1 out, and it's 1-1 on Marrero. Slugger making it difficult for a Giants fan watching his team trying to rally here, and now Marrero off the knuckles, foul.
Oof. Yeah, that would. Marrero would have loved that. That would have hurt, but it's just a foul ball.
Crawford doubled, Nunez singled. Moylan came on and struck out Hundley, and then panic walked against Wood, and now the 1-2 to Marrero, strike 3 over the outside.
Oh, and that's a timely strikeout. Just what he wanted. Had Marrero guessing and thinking maybe he'd go with an off-speed pitch, and Woody stayed convicted with a 4-seam fastball straight as a string, but right on the outside part of the plate. Marrero's got to go.
And now Wood gets another left-hand batter, Denard Span. That'll be back into the crowd. No balls and 1 strike.
Travis Wood can work his way out of this. This is exactly what Ned Yost thought when they acquired him. Can get lefties and righties out. Smart guy. When he gets his pitches where he wants them down, he keeps them off balance with a 4-pitch mix. This will be a huge opportunity here if he can escape this jam. Pick up his former teammate with the Cubs, Jason Hamill.
Alex to the side wall, climbing the wall, but it's well back. Nice grab by a Royals fan, playing the bounce.
Here comes the crowd.
Broke his bat. Mondesi in time. The Giants had runners at first and third and nobody out. And Moylan with a strikeout. Wood with a strikeout and a ground out. Get the Royals out of it. World champion last year, but I got to think that's got to give him a huge lift.
Oh, without a doubt. You know, to pick up a Royals pitcher like that, especially his buddy, his teammate from last year, they're all teammates now, but look, it didn't matter who. He did the job, and that's exactly what he wanted to do. Really tough situation for him.
Refreshing saves from Price Chopper and Aquafina. Sign up at mypricechopper.com to get free Aquafina when the Royals get a save. Salvador Perez takes a slider strike. Matt Cain pitched very well tonight. He has allowed 1 run, 4 hits in 6 innings. Fastball, no balls, 2 strikes. He allowed a 1-out home run to Whit Merrifield in the 5th inning. He has worked around 3 leadoff base hits, including a leadoff double in the 1st inning, and he gets Salvador Perez on 3 straight pitches. That's his 3rd strikeout.
Looking pretty good now. That's what you want to do. 0-2. You don't want to give anybody a good pitch to hit, even though Salvi can hit those. Not that one. In that particular time. Now, Moss comes up. You see the infield moving over. Panic out in shallow right field. Crawford up near second base.
Got underneath it. And Marrero coming up in left field. Moss is 1 for 3. Matt Cain, he's had a very efficient night. He's only at 84 pitches with 2 down in the 7th inning. He won on Wednesday against Arizona. That was his first win since August of last year. And in that game, he went just 5 innings, so the minimum to qualify for a win.
Oh, you know, I'm impressed with the Matt Cain that can pitch now. Hey, he could pitch when he threw 98. Don't get me wrong. But sometimes, you know, you can blow it by a hitter. But at 90, 91, 92, you gotta hit your spots, and here he is in very minimal pitch count.
That's a 5-pitch inning.
Wow.
Going back to last year, it's been 7 starts since he's gone 7 innings.
Inning, Pete Moylan gets summoned in from the bullpen. They got issues here. They got runners on. He gets a strikeout. Travis Wood comes in, gets a big strikeout there, and then a jam sandwich to Bernard. He's got to go, Denard Span. Good job. Yeah, and Hamill says, thank you very much for letting me off the hook. The bullpen, last 6 games, 189 opponent average. Fantastic. Been getting the job done.
And so is Joakim Soria. He's pitched in 5 games for a total of 6 innings, 2 hits in 6 innings, no runs. He has had to work around 5 walks, but he has struck out 8. And he'll get the middle of the Giants order in the 8th inning. Brandon Belt, Hunter Pence, Buster Posey. Brandon Belt is late on a fastball. Belt struck out in the first, line to center in the 4th, and then walked in the 6th. Jason Hamill gave up 1 run, 6 hits in his 6 innings. Peter Moylan 1/3 of an inning. Travis Wood 2/3 of an inning. And Moylan and Wood helped Hamill get out of a 1st and 3rd nobody out in the 7th inning. 1-2 on Brandon Belt. Two and two.
Joaquin fastball 90 to 95 at times, but he's better in the low 90s. He's got better movement on his pitches. He's got a slider curve, slow curve, change up, and occasional split finger he'll float up there. Keep him all honest. Nice finish. He's been doing an excellent job with changing speeds this year, keeping the ball down and starting off hot. This is really good. It's exactly what he needed. Now there's the split finger. See, it looks good to the hitter above the knees, and then it disappears. Excellent pitch there, especially with 2 strikes. And you know, Joel was talking about Whit Merrifield maybe having a little chip on his shoulder. Joaquin has the same chip, and that's to perform better and to prove that, hey, last season was a fluke. Back this year, I'm going to make my pitches and I'm going to help my bullpen.
Hunter Pence drove in the Giants run in the 6th inning to tie it at 1. And now base it into left field with 1 down in the 8th.
Pence gets up there. He's looking early in the count. And this guy, his eyes get big as saucers when that ball comes in there, man. He's really watches that pitch come in. Very intense ball player.
So Buster Posey with 1 on 1 out. He had 2 base hits against Jason Hamill. One of them an infield single, which led to that play by Mondesi to Salvador Perez at the plate to get Brandon Belt to end the inning.
Tremendous defensive play. Mondesi thought he could have gloved it the first time. It got by him. There's a slow curve. It's a beauty. And then Salvi with some tremendous athleticism and soft hands at the plate here. Watch this, and then he snow cones it. Just the fact he was able to knock it down, hold the throw a little. Oh, that was just a beautiful tag with the ball halfway in his glove. And he's able to hold on. How many times is that ball
shattered bat? Man, fragments all over the infield.
I mean, that ball is going to be jarred loose 9 out of 10 times the way it was in his glove. And like I said, Belt 6'5", 230 pounds. That's a big guy. Now check it out. Split finger stayed up there. The change of speed's what got it, and it jammed him. And there's a little explosion, but that bat died a hero. I mean, he blooped it right over Escobar's head.
You know, typically on that play you're talking about at home plate, the base runner's foot is going to go into the side of the glove and get in between the fielder's hand and the ball. You don't see very often the fielder sliding into the tip of the glove, and he literally pushed the ball in further into the webbing.
Yeah, and then, you know, but then see, this looks like it pushed it all the way into the pocket, but then watch Salvi's right hand. Look at where Belt's right foot went. Right by with spikes up, just missed his thumb. That could have been a nasty result. Thankfully, He's able to hold on, get the crucial out at home, and no hurt. Nobody hurt. Unusual. But you know, talk about sometimes the feeling that a catcher or a fielder has in the end of the fingers of that glove is amazing. You know, he knew he had it just barely, but the end of the gloves are an extension of the fingers, and there's a feel there, especially these guys using it the whole time. Now Salvi's telling him to come to a stop. He's reminding him, you know, come to a complete stop here. You don't want a balk called on you here. Soria looking for a little ground ball, roll him up.
Two and one on Crawford. He's 1 for 3. He had a double leading off the 7th inning. Nunez followed with a single, and the Giants had runners at first and third and nobody out. And then Peter Moylan and Travis Wood to the rescue, and the Giants failed to score. Now they have runners at first and second with 1 out. On the ground to Mondesi. Double play.
Oh, that's just what the doctor ordered. Beautiful. Roll him up. 4-6-3. He'll take it. Yeah. To win night. Who's going to hang in there? But Yellowwood bringing the lumber. It was Whitley Merrifield coming up from Omaha. He brought his lumber all the way from Omaha, saying, I can make a difference. And Ned believed he could. They wanted a little shot in the arm. There you go. You got it. Apo Taco. Big, nice homer in front of the family. Everybody, beautiful job of sparking this team. That's where it's standing. He's leading off this inning. Let's see if he's got some more lumber.
They'll be facing a left-hander this time around. Ty Block out of the Giants bullpen. And that pitch misses outside. Block is off to a slow start. He has appeared in 5 games. He has given up 3 runs in 4 innings. 2 balls and no strikes.
Okay, Whitley's job here is just get on base any way he can. This lefty, 6'2", 200 pounds, 26 years young. Yeah,
3-0.
Having some issues. He's not overpowering. He's more of a finesse type of lefty. He does have some low 90s action, curveball, changeup. Oh yeah, that's exactly what he'll take.
Dave Righetti Giants pitching coach goes to the phone in the dugout. Nick Hundley goes out there to settle down Ty Block. The Giants had an awful year 2016 out of their bullpen. Shocking that they even made it to the playoffs. And they got up to a slow start this year, like the Royals. In their first 6 games, their bullpen ERA was 9. And that's settled down over their last 6 games. But a bad start here, a 4-pitch walk. And now Mondesi drops down the bunt. Hundley will get Mondesi. And the go-ahead runs at second base with 1 out.
Saw that coming all the way. Now Mondesi, an expert bunter. You're going to try to move him over there if he can. Now if he places this right, he can get a base hit with his speed. That ball's up. Most left-handers, you might want to touch it a little bit more to first base, but look, just get the job done, and he did. Look at him. Good speed. Did his job. Got him in the scoring position. Now let's see if the Royals can do something they haven't done all night. Get a hit with a runner in scoring position. Hunter with the best arm in right field of the 3 fielders. Hit him.
Got him on the elbow.
And Ty Block having a hard time with some issues with command here. He's not able to get the ball in the strike zone. And Righetti and Ron Wotus, they're talking it over, saying, you know, we were expecting a little more out of our lefty, but man, he just can't come in there. Alex, you know, that felt like a mosquito bite to him. He's not going to move at all on that. Take one for the team.
Next time Alex Gordon is hit by a pitch, he'll tie the Royals record held by Mike McFarland, who has plunked 78 times as a Royal. So a 4-pitch walk, a sacrifice bunt, and a hit batter. And now Mike Moustakas has a chance to drive in a run. One of the biggest outs, maybe the biggest out, that Matt Cain had in his 7 very good innings tonight was against Moustakas. Just the second batter that he faced. Alex Gordon opened the game with a double. And you got Moustakas, who's really swinging the bat well. You got Moustakas on a check swing pop up to third, and that really turned the inning around. First and second, 1 down. Able to check his swing, and then after the pop out, Lorenzo Cain hit a fly ball to center field that would have been deep enough to score the run. And now here he is with an opportunity to put the Royals in front in the 8th inning.
Try to break that ball away. And he's having command issues, and Lance Barksdale's not going to give him anything, and he can't find the strike zone.
Drilled to right field. Hunter Pence is there. And now a close play at first. Hunter Pence, Hud mentioned his strong arm, and on target to Brandon Belt. The ball maybe not hit as hard as I thought. It just kind of flamed out when it got to right field.
Well, the base runners, they thought he had more too. Gordon was taking off like it was going to be a gapper, but he locked him up and got back to the base quickly, or they'd have doubled him up there and got out of the inning. So good try there. Moose didn't quite barrel it. Hit just off the end of the bat. Fortunate they didn't get doubled up. Good job of putting the brakes on by Alex.
Another pitching change for the Giants with Lorenzo Cain coming up. another reliever who's off to a slow start. He has pitched 4 2/3 innings. He has walked 3 and allowed 3 earned runs. And he gets Lorenzo Cain, who was 0 for 3 against Giants starter Matt Cain.
Cain is going to see a 90 to 92 mile-an-hour cut fastball, slider and a curve from George Contos. 6'3", 217. Time for Cain to come through. Now he is the best hitter so far with runners in scoring position this year. 4 for 7. Right man, right spot. Just get him a run.
There's the cutter. Had very little movement to it.
Cain wants to just pull back a little bit, use that whole field. All it's going to take with the speed of Merrifield is just a lousy single anywhere out there in the green grass. You got Herrera, who's warming in the Royal pen.
Oh, 2.
Trying to pull it, both pitches. Just not going to give him that, but that's a little spinner.
On the ground, deep short, Crawford not in time. And another infield base hit for Cain with 2 strikes. That's a heck of an at-bat because it's clear he was not picking up the spin against Contos and still ended up with a hit.
Yep, and you know, he likes to dump those to right, but still he's excellent at making contact. And when you're in the hole, what a play by Crawford. Great arm, but no chance to get the long striding Lorenzo Cain. Excellent job keeping it alive. And I don't think Wotus is going to let Haas stay with the righty here. He's going to bring the lefty in. So 2 down, nail-biting time here if there's such a thing this early in the season. And it's time to come through here for Haas.
Stephen Okert, who was just called up by the Giants, comes in.
Okay, nail-biting time. 2 outs, bases loaded. Pitch by pitch to Lorenzo Cain. We're going to show you what Contos featured him. Cutter. Cutter again. Identical pitches, identical play. Third pitch is down a little bit lower. Not a bad pitch, but this is great textbook hitting here. He's able to leg it out and get him another infield hit. Keep this rally alive.
Stephen Okert made his big league debut last year. He makes his big league season debut right now, and he comes on with the bases loaded. 2 down, tie score, bottom of the 8th.
Sidewinder. Keep the front shoulder in, Haas. He's a sinker slider lefty. He's a specialist. Haas has got to be able to see a pitch. You know, he's got to at least take one to check it out. You know, this is going to be very difficult to keep your shoulder in off this lefty. And he offered it a pitch that was way out there. He's loading up. All you need is a lousy single here. Try to just do the best you can to let the ball come to you and lay it out there. It's a tough situation. It's a lot easier up here to talk about it than it is to try to hit a guy like that. Oh, man.
Saved by Hundley.
Hundley, he moved his entire body to try to square that up on his chest protector. Keep it right there, and he was way short and out of the way. Look how he squares this up. Right there, keep it right in the middle. Excellent technique there by Hundley.
Since 2015, only 3 more hitters have more go-ahead runs driven in than Hosmer. 1-2. Merrifield walked to open the inning. Mondesi bunted him to second. Gordon was hit by a pitch. With 2 down, Kane reached on an infield single.
He's going to throw him another bender. Maybe this one will get by Hundley.
On the ground, Belt. Backhand play. Wins the race to the base.
Oh, hit it
the
hard.
Royals leave the bases loaded in the 8th. Herrera comes on for the Royals, and coming up on April 29th, the Royals will have the Twins in town, and we'll have our first bobblehead in our Memorable Moments series. The first 20,000 fans will receive an exclusive Kelvin Herrera bobblehead presented by Sonic, commemorating his 3 scoreless innings in Game 5 of the 2015 World Series. Royals.com, or you can drop by an area price chopper, 1-800-6-ROYALS, for tickets. Herrera was the winning pitcher on Sunday. Had a save in the Oakland series. And he'll get Nunez, Hundley, and Panic in the 9th inning.
Giants know what's coming. Hard fastball, upper 90s. Nunez just kind of tipped his hat to his buddy. It looked like there. Faced him when he was with the Minnesota Twins. Change up at 88. Occasional sliders.
Here's a slider. One for 3 with a single tonight. 2 for 4 in the past against Herrera. 98.
Yeah, I think Nunez knew it was coming, but he took a little bit too mighty a rip. Lost his balance.
Slider grounded deep short, and Eske throws him out. He hadn't pitched much, but when Herrera gave up that home run to Rajai Davis on Thursday night, he then went into a different gear.
Did.
He had allowed the home run to Marisnik on the last road trip a week ago Sunday, and that tied the game. The home run by Davis just got the A's closer, but ever since Davis's home run, Herrera has looked exactly the way we've expected him to look.
Yeah, and you know, and he didn't pitch a lot there in the first several games. First series at all in Minnesota didn't come out at all. So I think Dave Island and him had a little chat. That it's that slider, his third best pitch, that they hit the homers off of. So I think, you know, had a little talk. He said, hey, look, you know what? Before you even had that slider, you were a dominant back end setup man. So why don't we just, you know, get back to your bread and butter a little bit. Now I don't know exactly if that's what was said, but it's almost, you could see by his performance, he's left that slider alone. That's the first one we've seen. First pitch to Nunez there in that last at bat. 2 pitches is all a closer really needs, or setup man he was before, but now he's the guy, and he I'm sure had a talk with himself. I mean, Holland, fastball, slider. Wade Davis, he had 3 pitches. He had that, you know, nice little overhand curve that he would use, but he had a vicious cutter. 2 pitches basically. 4-seam, 2-seam, or a little cutter. All the good ones usually 2 pitches. Mariano Rivera, only 1 pitch, cutter. Kenley Jansen, that's what he throws it, just a cutter. He just says, here it comes. Guys that close games are dominant. Not many are like our great Royals Hall of Fame closer, Jeff Montgomery. Monty used 4. Which to me sounds to be a lot harder.
Kane coming up from center field. He got a really good read on that line drive. 2 down. And speaking of Monty, he and Joel will have Boulevard Royals live as soon as the game is over. Talk about Whit Merrifield's return to the big leagues. And he hit a home run in the 5th inning, accounting for the Royals run. Jason Hamill and Matt Cain were both very good. And now the game is in the hands of the bullpen. And the bullpen has had to work hard tonight, pitching around men on base.
And you know, Whit, he's not done. He hits 4th next inning.
Changeup. How many pitchers wish they had a fastball at 91 miles an hour? And Herrera's changeup is 91.
He's blessed.
Panik singled leading off the 6th inning. Hunter Pence got him home. That's the Giants' run. He has also walked. And Herrera's ahead 0-2 through another changeup.
And that velocity we're seeing is a little bit more than what it normally is. Normally it's 88. It's a little bit strong with it. The variation between the fastball and the changeup, the speed variation, is extremely important to get the hitter off balance.
Another one.
10 mile an hour is ideal. 88 to 98. That's perfect. That's enough to throw him off.
Put him away with a fastball. 3 up, 3 down. Salvador Perez, 5 home runs this year. Brandon Moss, 2 go-ahead home runs this year. And Alcides Escobar, who walked the Royals off Sunday, coming up. Ninth inning. The last time we were here in the bottom of the 9th inning, Alcides Escobar turned in our Ram drive of the game, and a walk-off 1-0 victory over the Angels and a 3-game sweep.
That's all he had to do. Find a little green grass with 2 outfielders here at the K. Wasn't hard to do, but he put it in play and nicely done.
Here's another Giants reliever who's off to a tough start. Derek Law. Breaking ball inside to Salvador Perez. Salvi is 0 for 3. All 3 of those at bats against starter Matt Cain. Check swing and a called strike, 1-1.
He's breaking out the breaking ball early here. He's got a good fastball, low to mid-90s. A little bit of deception in that delivery. He likes to sink that fastball. 3 in a row. And he'll try to bury this breaking ball too, because Salvi swung on it his last time up, and unless you can discipline yourself to lay off it, that's what they'll continue to do. They'll just bury that breaking ball down there.
He sped up his motion there and missed away with a breaking ball.
He's got some deception in his delivery. Young guy, he's 26. Right over the top.
On the ground, and Crawford low and picked out by Belt. Royals might take a look at that. Belt didn't look like he had that secured right away.
Oh.
And
he's out.
Wakamatsu makes a quick phone call to Bill Duplessis.
Yeah, once again, let's see. Yeah, he had it.
He thought he had bobbled it, but it was stuck in the glove.
If your opponent senses that you don't have the discipline to lay off of that breaking ball, they'll keep throwing it there. And believe me, tomorrow, Baumgartner do the same thing. Baumgartner.
That ball is down for a base hit. Winning run is on with 1 out. Brandon Moss has a 2-hit game.
It's good to see that now. It's an inside heater. There's that mid-90s fastball. Kept his lumber intact as well. Didn't break it. Maybe this is a sign of good things to come, and Moss is due to get some multi-hit games going. Make him feel good in the confident department.
Fastest guy that Ned has on his bench right now is Paul Orlando. He might use Paulo if Moss gets into scoring position. Now, if he had Mondesi or Gore on his bench, that'd be a different situation. I'm not giving Brandon Moss enough credit. He stole a base back in the second inning.
Yeah, but Law thinks he might go. He threw over. Now Moss is thinking, hey, dig myself. How about that? I got a throw over. Rusty Kuntz, 1 out, Freeze on the line.
Threw over there again.
Outfield playing pretty deep here. In case Eske does hit a gap into the wall, when they're playing deep, as you can see, they can get to those balls quicker and get the ball in.
I remember the Giants playing deep the whole World Series.
Yep.
Moss runs, and Escobar swings away, but he hit it in the air.
Too bad. Good opportunity. When you see that guy going, you want to concentrate on the top half of the ball in the worst way. Sometimes it doesn't happen. Any little ugly ground ball, any squibber off the end of your bat can go for a base hit.
So Whit Merrifield, after spending the first 2 weeks at AAA, was called up before the game tonight. He is grounded out, homered, and he did that to the opposite field. He hit it into the Giants bullpen in right, and he is walked. Breaking ball pulled foul.
Pretty impressive shot for any right-handed hitter to go out that way, but he went with it. He waited back and he caught it at the right place. Let the ball travel deep towards the catcher's glove, and the catcher, was about ready to catch that ball, and then he had a little sock to it, got underneath it just in the right time, in the right spot. Nunez, third baseman, and Belt both guarding the line, so you can't sneak it down the line on him.
Foul tip, and it's 0-2.
Oh, he's got that big, tight curveball. We'll see if we see him try to bounce it up there.
He did. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Good take. Law put that right where he wanted it. 2-2. Royals have left 6 on base. The Giants have stranded 7. Way outside, 3-2. Mondesi is on deck.
Wait him out. Merrifield's got good plate discipline.
So Moss will get an early break, and Merrifield takes a walk. No swing. 2 walks tonight for Merrifield to go with his home run. And now the winning run's in scoring position. That's the first time Whit Merrifield has had 2 walks in 1 game at the big league level.
Well, you can tell by the way that he was swinging in AAA down on the farm that he's bringing that here. And when you're seeing a lot of pitches, you know, you're hot, you're seeing pitches really well. It doesn't matter. And actually, you see the ball better up here. Lights are a little bit brighter.
Oh, and 1. I think that was a case of reverse psychology right there. Law's throwing all those breaking balls. The league is throwing a lot of breaking balls to Mondesi, and that's what he was thinking. And he got a fastball.
Snuck it right by him.
Another one.
Oh, man, you got to be ready to hit them. Now, the outfield has come in. They've come in a lot because they want to make a play on Moss. On a routine base hit right to him. Moss can get a big secondary lead, and that's the lead after the pitch.
3 fastballs. So the Royals strand 2, and we go to extra innings. Scott Alexander will pitch the 10th. Who is 0-2 with a 3.43, but the Royals have Jason Vargas, who is 2-0 with a 0.66.
Doctor gonna make a house call. Yeah, scalpel him up. Can't wait for that one.
Just a 2-gamer with the Giants, and then the Royals will hit the road after the game tomorrow night for a week. Scott Alexander will make his 2nd appearance since being called up from AAA. 2 1/3 innings on Wednesday. He did not allow a hit. He did not allow a walk. Giants have the 9 1-2 hitters coming up. Grounded to Moustakas. Tough play on a short hop. 1 down.
Great read by Moose. Alexander doing what he does. He's a ground ball worm burning machine. Sinker. 88-94. Slider changeup. Roll him out there to that defense. It's frustrating if you're a hitter and you see him well, you know, and you hit the ball hard, but you hit it right into the ground. It's frustrating.
Strike to Denard Span. He is 0 for 4. He grounded out with the bases loaded in the 7th inning. And that ended the 7th inning. Jason Hamill had his best start as a Royal tonight. He allowed 1 run in 6 innings. He did allow a double and a single to begin the 7th. And then the bullpen took over and bailed him out Peter Moylan got a strikeout with runners at first and third, nobody out. Travis Wood came on, walked a batter to load the bases. Then he struck out Marrero and got Span to ground out to second base. Span called out on strikes for the second time tonight. He's 0 for 5. And was that pitch in the strike zone?
I don't know, but Alexander, he coming out, man. That's top of the zone, and sometimes with 2 strikes, and it's early in the season, hitters trying to figure the umpire's strike zone. But anything too close, when in doubt, you need to swing. If you don't hack, they'll send you back.
And now Brandon Belt. Breaking ball for a strike. Belt has struck out twice and walked. Royals in the 10th will have the top of the order: Gordon, Moustakas, and Kane. Jam badly, 0-2. So Hamill for 6, Moylan for a third of an inning, Wood for 2/3, Soria in the 8th, Herrera in the 9th, Alexander in the 10th.
Very nice work by Ned Yost in his bullpen tonight. Super job.
Going to be a tough play for Eske. Bare hands, throws, not in time.
I can't believe he barehanded that. I mean, that is extremely difficult to make. Ball was hit with some kind of, you know, it had some hair on it. It was hit hard, but Eske's running completely to the third base bag. Unbelievable. He picked that up. That's not easy.
Threw a strike.
Good try. Look at that spin. See the spin on that ball? Catches the back of his palm, throws off his right foot. Great try.
And now ball to Hunter Pence, who has 2 hits tonight, including the Giants' lone RBI. In the 6th inning, he drove in Joe Panic to tie the game at 1, and that's our last run. Royals got a home run from Whit Merrifield in the bottom of the 5th. The Giants tied it in the next half inning, and that's all we have tonight. (3-0). Buster Posey is on deck.
And it's a tough part of the lineup here. These guys got a lot of experience. Pence in his 10th year in the big leagues. A player for Houston and Philadelphia. And Alexander missing. 2 outs. See if he can find a way to get Posey out.
Three singles for Posey in his first game, coming off the 7-day disabled list.
And he's a .327 lifetime hitter against left-handed pitching. So what Ned's counting on here is that Alexander can throw him something down and he hits it right at somebody on the ground. Belt at second base runs pretty well for a big man. You saw him get down the line on that infield hit there to Escobar.
Strike 1 from Alexander. Beautiful pitch.
Yeah, and you know, this is one way if you're a manager like Ned Yost and you know, you have confidence in your guys and you're going to say, I'm not going to just pull you out and bring a situational righty in because the situation calls for it. You got good enough stuff, get him yourself. And that really goes a long way with players when your manager instills that kind of confidence in you. Oh yeah, Beautiful job.
Alexander strikes out 2 in a scoreless top of the 10th inning.
Wow. You get a hitter like that to check his swing, you've done something. Nice job.
Taking over in left field for Marrero. He spent a couple of years in the Royals organization, 2013 and 2014 at AAA Omaha. Taking over for Chris Marrero. Derek Law got into trouble in the 9th inning, but struck out Mondesi with 2 on, 2 out. He'll stay on for the 10th and get Gordon Moustakas Kane. Breaking ball for a strike to Alex, who led off the first inning with a double. He's also been hit by a pitch. 1 for 3. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, what Derek Law is showing is a low to mid-90s fastball, over the top curveball, a little tight rotation. Slider, haven't seen many changeups, but he'll throw them against lefties.
2-1. Both starters allowed 1 run, and both bullpens who got off to slow starts this year have been very good. Chopped out to Panic, and there's 1 down in the 10th. Derek Law is the 4th San Francisco reliever tonight. Ned Yost has used 5 relievers. Mike Moustakas is 0 for 4. He's got that big slow breaking ball, but he can still run it up there at 95 or 96.
Yeah, he's got some mid-90s stuff. And you know, you can tell he's right over the top, and so sometimes that, if you're over the top like that, that ball stays straight, it'll straighten out. But what's his equalizer is that nice big tight curve.
Fisted down for a base hit, and the winning run is on with 1 out. And Ned Yost in the 10th inning will go with a pinch runner and Paulo Orlando. He left Paulo on the bench when Brandon Moss singled with 1 out in the 9th.
Jam shot, 93. Moose is strong enough to fight that off over Crawford's head. That's exactly what that is. He's just a good muscle it right out there. Now Paulo, with excellent speed, checking the outfielders, seeing where they're playing with 1 out. Denard's span in center is deep and playing a little bit to the off field, and all the outfielders deep. Locane can hit the gap, this game's over. Paulo not necessarily in there to steal a base. He's in there to score on a gapper.
Yeah, it's bringing back memories from the World Series and how deep the Giants were and how many balls were hit hard by the Royals deep to the outfield, and someone just always seemed to be standing there. That's what led to the exciting play in Game 7 in the 9th inning. You watch that replay on Alex Gordon's ball that got kicked around. Buster Posey thought the game was over. The ball was hit to center. He's on his way to celebrate with Bumgarner, but that outfield defense was so deep that the ball dropped in front of Blanco.
Yeah.
He boxed it. Juan Perez kicked it on the warning track, and everyone's heart almost came out of their chest. Paulo does not have a real big lead over at first, but he's still dividing Derek Law's attention.
Yeah, no, you know, Paulo, he's going to get a lead on the pitch there, and then, you know, you make a mental note of where the guys are playing. Make sure you freeze on the line drive. You want to get doubled up. Is off to the races. Anything in the outfield grass.
Base hit center field. Paulo's going to run on Span. No, he hits the brakes.
Ball was hit too hard, but Paulo could have made it had he committed. But if you're not committed 100%, stay in scoring position. Don't want to get thrown out there. So the ball was crushed. To Hopper, he's got it before Paulo gets to second base. I think he made the right decision. Now he could have pushed the envelope, but play it safe. You know, lousy single now scores him. He'll score. And we'll see now. Dave Righetti's out having a little meeting of the minds. The Giants are all gathered around that dirt on that rock pile. Haas having another chance here to do something big for his team.
He came up with the bases loaded and 2 down in the 8th inning against lefty Stephen Okert, who came in to face one batter, and that was Hosmer. Got him to chase some pitches out of the strike zone.
Outfielder's shortened up some. What's he going to come at Haas with? Fastballs or the big overhand curve? He's got
high and tight. Fastball at 95. Hosmer, even though he appeared to be fooled and a bit over anxious against Okert, in the end hit the ball hard. He hit one hard up the first base line, and Brandon Belt, also a good defensive first baseman, saved the inning. Way upstairs, and that may have crossed up Hundley.
Yeah, now most guys in the bullpen, you know, 25, 30 pitches usually, and I think when Dave Righetti went out there, he knew that Law is kind of towards the end of his little run here in his little relief appearance, and you could tell how short that breaker was. We haven't seen one that short in a while, so you know, maybe he's getting a little bit fatigued here, and at 2-0 might want to come in there and see if he can throw a heater. Be ready. Stay short with your swing.
In on him.
So that fastball might be his pitch. He's going to have to stay with it. Especially he thinks he can get it by Haas. He might come back with it. Good placement here. Off the plate.
On the night they're giving away his t-shirt. The Haas. Many of the fans wearing the shirt, standing and cheering, with Hosmer with a chance to win it. 3-1. Salvador Perez is next.
Yeah. Those last 2 pitches there would take his lumber if he made contact with him. They're off the plate. And Law, you know, Borghetti could have said, hey, look, you know, if you're not going to get ahead of him, then don't give him something good to pitch or good to hit. We'll get Salvi coming back on the right side.
On the ground to Panic. Safe. The Giants want a challenge. And boy, does that bring back memories. Game 7 of the World Series. Hosmer grounding into a double play, which they first ruled he was safe at first, and then after the challenge he was out. But it sure sounded on our field microphone that it was glove and then foot. John Tumpane is the first base umpire who made the call. Ron Wotus, typically the bench coach, is the acting manager. And there you have it. And the umpires are not on the headsets very long. It's a double play. So to the 11th, still tied at 1. In the bottom of the 10th inning, so Chesler Cuthbert will take over at third base. And it's been a frustrating night for Eric Hosmer, who has been one of the best in the major leagues the previous 2 seasons as far as go-ahead RBIs, and we know what he's done in the postseason. But in his last 2 at-bats, he has come up with the bases loaded 2 outs, first and second 1 out, and ground balls have ended the inning. And now Crawford launches it to center field. It'll stay in the ballpark, and Lorenzo brings it down. And for the second straight inning, Scott Alexander gets the first out on 1 pitch. Scott Alexander has a chance for his first major league victory tonight.
Okay, now Chris Young starting to loosen up in Ned's bullpen.
Crawford 1 for 5 with that fly out, and that brings up Eduardo Nunez. Down and away, ball 1. Two ways to look at tonight's game. Two different perspectives. Over anxious hitters or pitchers executing their pitches. Now, that last inning, I'm sure the Giants felt like Derek Law made a good pitch to Eric Hosmer and got a ground ball and a double play.
Yep. It's hard to figure, you know. I mean, obviously, when you're not hitting to your capability, they're going to say that you're too anxious and you're over swinging and those type of things. Now, if you got good numbers and you're raking, then all of a sudden it's good pitching. So, you know, it's not easy, Rhino. It's really difficult, and having been in situations where you're pressing and you're pushing and you're not doing exactly like you would hope that you could do, sometimes that becomes mental, and the mental comes to the hands, and everything kind of stiffens up, and you're trying to push, force things, and it's just not happening. Let the game come to you. Don't go out and get it. So it's important at times to learn that. But you know what? These guys have been through it. It's not like something there. These aren't beginners. These are not young players.
It's really a fine line between caring, really wanting to get the job done, really wanting to come through for your team, and trying to do too much.
Yeah, and that's the human tendency, is to try harder.
One and one on Hundley. And now 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And just, you know, then that one time that hit, it falls in, something clicks. And usually it's a hit to the opposite field that gets you going. Alexander doing a heck of a job, as well as the rest of the bullpen. Filling in for Hamill. Outstanding work.
Royals, sorry to cut you off.
That's
Royals legendary hitting coach Charlie Lau's famous words to George Brett: sometimes you need to try easier. And to other hitters, I'm sure, but I've heard George quote Charlie Lau many times. Don't try harder, try easier.
Yeah.
Not less, easier.
Yeah, and you know, the year I got to play in Japan in 1993, they paid me a lot of money to come over there and play second base. And you know, I was a little bit tight early, and they had megaphones in their dugouts, you know, like cheerleading megaphones that they would cheer with. And the hitting coach, all the time I'd hear him yell, "Relax, relax." Relax.
I mean, the last thing you're going to do, right?
Yeah, almost every time, every at bat. So, you know, it was frustrating.
The hitting coach had a cheerleading megaphone in the dugout.
They all have them. There's like 5 or 6 of them where they can cheer. That's just that's how they do their game. That's going to be a double.
Nick Hundley's at second base with 2 down. Well, that must have taken a while to get used to.
Breaking ball right down the middle. Look, he's sitting right on it. Yeah, you know, it was different, Rhino. You had to really just say, you know, I'm getting used to your game. And like the manager would call me into the office, you know, and I struggled a little bit to start there. And he would yell at me for 15 minutes, and I'd look at the interpreter. Of course, he yelled at me in Japanese, and then I looked at the interpreter. After 15-minute rant, he looked at me, and I said, well, what did he say? He didn't look too happy. He said, you're the reason we're losing.
Now go out there and relax.
Right.
Fastball by Joe Panic. Royals run was a home run from Whit Merrifield in the bottom of the 5th inning. The Giants answered right away in the top of the 6th. Joe Panic scored on a base hit from Hunter Pence. And here we are tied at 1 in the 11th. 1 ball and 1 strike.
But my response to the interpreter to tell back to the manager was, hey, I'm learning your game. I'm going to be the player you paid to come here to win. Just be patient with me. And you have to have that kind of confidence up here. You can't go in your shell, and they won't. Good pitch.
In the bottom of the 11th, same batters that came up in the 9th and the 7th, Perez, Moss, and Escobar. That ball is going to be down. Lorenzo Cain, a great effort diving into right center field. The Giants take the lead. So with 2 outs and nobody on, San Francisco gets a double, and Joe Panik's single gives the Giants a 2-1 lead in the 11th inning.
Oh, you know, Locaine was playing to the opposite field. Now, if he's playing straight up, he catches this, but great effort just to, you know, keep it in front of him even. I mean, there's not much you can do there. Great effort. I mean, you know, sometimes, you know, you take a chance playing hitters certain ways, and that's because the outfield instructor, Rusty Kuntz, the infield instructor, Mike Jershely, they move you and they put you in places where they think the hitter's going to hit it. Doesn't always happen. Excellent try.
Dave Island's out for a quick word with Alexander. And it brings up Gorkys Hernandez. This is his first plate appearance after coming on last half inning defensively. Panik going on first movement, and he has a stolen base. Mondesi receiving that throw on a hop.
Good, excellent takeaway. That means getting a good break. That ball skipped off the grass, no chance.
Chop to third, and Cuthbert had to get around the runner Panik, but he throws out Hernandez to end the inning. Salvador Perez will lead it off. The Royals are down by 1 at the end of 10 1/2. On for the save. Giants spent a lot of money on him this past offseason. The Giants had a terrible year last year closing out games. Now let's see if they're going to follow the rules here. Melanson took 2 or 3 extra warm-up tosses before he came out of the bullpen gate. Well, so much for following the rules. One more warm-up toss, but why do we have the clock?
Oh well.
2 more warm-up tosses, then he came through the gate, and when he got on the mound, there was less than a minute remaining. So to his credit, he warmed up quickly, but home plate umpire Lance Barksdale didn't seem to be concerned with that clock out there. 2 out of 3 in save opportunities. The Giants as a team are 2 out of 5 in save opportunities. And Melanson will get Salvador Perez, Brandon Moss, and Alcides Escobar.
6'2", 215, 32-year-old closer. There's a 12-6 curveball he's got. Now Dale Swaim is telling Merrifield he's got the book of knowledge right there. Moose is already out of the game. They pinch ran for him. Melanson 90 to 93 with his fastball, not overpowering. He's going to cut the fastball as well, and he's got a changeup. So really a 3-pitch. There's a cutter there. He's a 3-pitch closer. It once, like a lot of guys, he threw, you know, mid-90s, a little bit higher than that. But right now, they hired him. He's one of the best save percentages in all of baseball last season. So that was a problem for the Giants.
1-2 on Salvi. Yeah, that was a huge problem for the Giants. Their bullpen ERA was 5th in the National League. So you might at first glance say, okay, not bad. But they had 30 blown saves, which was the most in the major leagues and the most in Giants history. They had 9 losses last year with a lead in the 9th inning. 9. 2-2 on Salvi. But they made the playoffs. The most blown saves by a team to make the playoffs since 1969.
Wow.
That's when they started keeping track of saves, 1969. So probably a lot further back than that. Golfed, foul. And they also had blown saves in the postseason, including blowing a 5-2 9th inning lead over the Cubs in Game 4 of the division series. So at the top of their list was to go out and get a proven closer.
Been trying to get Salvi out on the breaking ball down. And Nick Hundley, catcher, he's been calling that pitch, and Melanson didn't want it. Right-handers so far against Melanson are 5 for 10 with 2 doubles off of him this year.
Ground ball, base hit left field. And now Christian Colon comes out of the Royals dugout. Tying run on, nobody out.
So Nick Hundley, he stayed with it and wanted to throw that hook, and he did. Salvi wait on it. It was up and up. Now Hundley wanted it down on the dirt. Salvi sometimes will overcommit on certain breaking balls, but that one stayed up just enough. Give him a little bit of life here in the 9th inning. Let's see what Moss can do.
He has his first 2-hit game as a Royal. 2 for 4 tonight. He also has a stolen base. .92 miles an hour and up. No balls and 1 strike. Three at-bats, 3 strikeouts for Moss against Melanson. Cutter is inside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
That little 2-seam in that first pitch that Moss took a rip at, that went away from him, and then the cutter coming in. So he's got a little bit of late life on his fastball. He's manipulating it a couple different ways. Colon, not known for his base stealing ability, but could score on a gapper or bouncer, especially right here. If there's you know, it's a 2-strike count, Rusty's probably telling him, hey, look, If he bounces this, be ready to advance.
Which he may try and do right here to put away Moss. Royals have left 9 on base, 6 of those over the last 3 innings. Got a piece of it, still alive, 1-2. Giants rally started with 2 outs and nobody on base. Royals answer with a leadoff man on. Took a cutter. Backdoor cutter. It started outside of the strike zone and then cut in over the outside edge. Or sort of.
Yeah.
But Lance Barksdale's been calling that pitch all night.
That's right.
Whether it's in that grid or not. One on, one out, and now Cetus Escobar. Last time Esky batted was in the 9th inning, and with 1 out, Brandon Moss singled, and then Moss took off. Escobar swung, so first thought would have been hit and run, and Escobar flied out to right field.
Well, if they do put that on again, Escobar want to concentrate on staying on top of the ball and finding a hole. You know, one of the reasons that the Giants went after Mark Melancon over the past 3 seasons, his save percentage of 93.5%. That's 100 for 107 in save chances. That was second best in the majors behind Zach Britton of Baltimore, who had a 95.7 save percentile. That's pretty good. That's almost like money, instant money. Ooh, that hanger. So they went out and found the best available closer they could. That was a free agent.
2 years ago, he was the Trevor Hoffman Award winner. They started giving away awards to the best closers in each league in 2014. Mariano Rivera for the American League winner. Trevor Hoffman for the National League winner. He had 51 saves 2 years ago. One and two. Two down.
Went with a cutter. And that little finger pressure there on the end, the middle finger there, and it's just run away and out of the zone. Good pitch. You don't want to give him anything over the middle. Let's see if Wedley can do some last-minute damage here. He's responsible for the lone Kansas City run. Solo home run opposite field. Giant bullpen. Way back in the 5th inning.
Ooh. Lance Barksdale flinched. He was going to call it a strike, and then no.
Tough job.
Merrifield never afraid really to hit with 2 strikes, not afraid to look at a pitch, and this one was out of the strike zone. And now 2 balls and no strikes. He was up there in the 9th inning in this situation, runner at first, 2 down, and he took a walk. Family watching from the crown seats tonight. Mondesi is on deck. Good cutter. Doesn't break much.
Oh, looked like he was on it. But good location out of the middle.
Some felt when Mariano Rivera retired that Melanson then held the title of having best cutter in the major leagues. You mentioned Kenley Jansen of the Dodgers a couple innings ago.
Yep.
Lays off the cutter, 3-1.
It's it's for a hitter, it looks straight, and then the last minute when you start your swing, that's when it starts cutting away. And Wade Davis has a great cutter, and then it really has some effect. It'll throw a hitter off, and that's all it takes is a little ½ inch to an inch.
Into center field, and Merrifield keeps the Royals alive. A home run, 2 walks, and a single in his return to the big leagues.
Yeah, staying in the large part of the field, controlling your swing. That's the main thing. Look at that, beautiful. That's a cutter. That's right where Melanson wanted it. That's textbook. If you try to pull that, you come off of it, and you might top it, will pop up or swing and miss totally. That's the right approach.
All right, I'm going to make a prediction, and I don't like predictions, but Raul Mondesi is not going to look at 2 fastballs for the first 2 pitches in this at bat.
Okay.
Because he faced Derek Law his last time up with 2 on 2 out. Law was flipping all those curveballs, and it looked like Mondesi went up there expecting a curveball, and Law snuck 2 fastballs right by him without a swing.
Okay, now we'll wait and see what Hundley puts down. Could go with the breaking ball first.
Oh, 0-1. Oh, 2. Mondesi's young, and the Royals know he's going to develop at the major league level, but it's really interesting watching the last 2 at bats. Now, Merrifield doesn't have a lot of major league experience, but he's been a professional for a long time. But taking 1 pitch, and then he's ahead in the count, seeing the ball out of Melanson's hand, and now Mondesi's up there ripping away, and neither pitch was a strike, and he's down 0-2.
Yep, they're going to develop him up here.
Made the adjustment there. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And a big league closer, successful closer like Melanson is going to expose the guy's weakness, and he's going to stay in there because he knows if he does make contact, he may not make the outfield, but he could get an infield hit with it. But that's all he's going to give him. He might even try to bounce one up here. But Mondesi really hasn't had a complete season in the minors that he's done anything like Merrifield.
Broke his bat. And it's still 1-2.
That's what he's going to do, is he's going to keep swinging at that there. Maybe he'll make a mistake. That's what hitters wait for. But with 2 strikes here, he wants to be able to choke up on that bat and just try to fight something out there to the outfield. Battle him. You don't want a long swing in this situation here.
Got him with a breaking ball down. So the Royals make it interesting in the bottom of the 11th. They get a couple of hits. They get the tying run into scoring position. But Joe Panik, who made the defensive play of the game in the World Series 3 seasons ago, he turns in the Honda play of the game with 2 outs and nobody on. Nick Hundley doubled. Panik followed with a single that Lorenzo Cain almost caught.
Yeah, and had he made that catch, that would have been phenomenal. But a great effort. Stayed in the middle of the part of the field. Giants take game 1.
Final score 2-1 in 11 innings. We'll be right back.